Your hair cannot possibly hurt.
You have no idea.
What do you mean I have no idea? I had long hair for many years.
You can only ever know what hair pain is if you wear it up for long enough. It's the hair, it's the...
Hair pain? What the fuck is hair pain?
It's the roots. If you pull them in one direction...
Why would you want to pull your roots?
Ow. Because you want your freaking hair out of your face. You have to wear a ponytail.
Heaven help us. What's that on your head?
Do you have to start looking kind of... Is that better?
You look like an ice cream that someone's dropped.
Oh, it's really painful.
Apart from that, everything's great. Careful with your hair.
No,
I don't want you to hurt yourself.
Oh, God.
You don't have any notes.
Sorry?
You don't have any notes.
No, I don't.
Why don't you have any
I
notes?
couldn't find that quote either.
How can you read something and then lose it?
It popped up on my Facebook wall and then I had to restart things and then it just disappeared.
Right. You ready?
Kinda.
5, 4. What am I doing? 3, 2, 1. Click.
Push the button.
The button has been pushed. The click thing has been clicked.
I can see that things are working.
Temporarily. Everything is a temporary state, you know that.
I am shocked.
Nothing is ever working for that long, especially around here.
I am shocked.
Shocked.
He spent the whole morning, literally, like the whole morning.
After the swim and
After
the
you
trip to
came
the
from the
computer
swim.
shop.
Yeah. Which is about 9 o'clock. You came back around 9 o'clock.
What? I came back around 10 because I was walking into town.
Yeah?
At night. I was still walking to the shop with the broken computer.
Anyway, so he was doing these things from 10 o'clock. He's been running around, swearing very loudly and pulling cables.
I never swear, and I definitely never pull cables.
All over the place. And
Never.
I had like 4 monitors in the middle of the living room.
No.
Crazy. And I was like, oh, why is it doing that?
What?
I don't know.
Were there problems? Were there any problems? Was there a whole bunch of feedback coming through the speakers at one point in time?
It looks like things are working, so... Oh, well, fortunately, I mean, for you, right?
For me. Look, I thought...
Now you can see
I
us.
woke up this morning and I thought, I'm going to simplify it all. Because it's all... This year is the simplify, which is why I have made things so complicated.
Yeah, that's why we had like 5 pieces of technology around here. Simplify. And has it worked? No, not really. But we're getting there. You can't expect instant. But you can't
results.
really simplify unless you make things extremely complicated for yourself in the first place. So, good job.
Okay, what have I done? I've see on our side of things, I have I've reduced 2 computers to 1 computer. We have said goodbye to YouTube Live, and hello New York. No, sorry, and we're concentrating on the Facebook stream and the podcast right now, and things will be mirrored onto YouTube, as YouTube appears to be the one place where I'm picking up subscribers.
Are you?
I am. I don't know if they're joining because of me or because of you, to be honest. Or it could be the synergy.
Perhaps because of the value that we provide.
It might be because of the Stefan Molyneux videos or the Jordan Peterson or
Theoretically.
the other educational stuff which is on there. It might be because of that, but
Might be. Anyway, whatever it is that's on there that you provide for people through your YouTube channel, it's a good thing if they find it helpful and if they subscribe for it.
It is.
Whether it's you in person or whether it's the resources that you find for people that they can use.
Yeah, I often wonder about the what kinds of people would subscribe to my channel and what their interests might be. And whether I'd get more subscribers if I just called it the Booty channel,
Maybe,
or something like that, rather than the Academy.
Did you read?
Did you read? What?
Did the name just come out of your mind somewhere from the back drawers of your mind? Because
the back. There's no such thing as a back drawer.
Yes, there is.
You can't get around the back. There's a wall.
It's around down here.
A back drawer. you just creating something that does not exist on the planet.
That's because I'm creative. Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
And round here, there are back drawers, but there's a wall. Yes, but there's a back drawer.
Yeah. That's why it's so difficult to get there, right?
Right, it's hidden in the back drawers.
Exactly.
That no one ever uses.
Because I once talked to you about the booty yoga, no?
Excuse me?
Did I once talked to you.
Hello?
I once talked to you about the booty yoga.
Oh, yoga. I heard, what did I hear?
Yoda.
Oregano. I don't know where that came from. Okay.
Right.
Booty yoga, what?
Some kind of woman came up with this.
I know there's beer yoga, where people do yoga and
some
drink
kind of
beer
woman
and get
came
drunk.
up with this booty yoga and is trying to sell people the idea that booty is an old Indian word that means secret, which I think is
It might be
nonsense. I think she just chose the word booty spelled B-U-T-I because it sounds like booty spelled B-O-O-T-Y.
Is it B-U-T-I?
Yes.
It's probably a place. There's probably a place in India called Booty.
And yeah, and what she does is she takes yoga exercises.
I go back to my hometown of Booty.
She takes yoga exercises and she takes like a tribal music kind of thing, or really beaty music.
What?
Beaty. It's got a strong beat.
Oh, beat like meaty.
Yeah.
Meaty.
She takes.
I like that. It's really beaty.
Either tribal or really beaty, and
people to it.
And it's all very fluent and very rhythmical, and she does these, she bases it on basic yoga poses, but it's like a kind of almost like a dance thing, right? It's like a mixture of yoga and dance and weird tribal movements and weird things you do with your pelvis.
Do people join it? Do people do it?
Some people do, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I found
That's
some
weird.
I found some free videos, right? I did like 2 of her workouts.
Well, you've done this.
I wanted to try it.
Who would join this? You.
No,
okay.
I just wanted to try it, but I only found like two free videos on YouTube, which made me think, okay, this is obviously not a big thing yet. And I did not like the videos very much.
It's obviously not a big thing. It's obviously it's terrible.
Yeah.
Right.
And I didn't like the workouts very much because they weren't balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes she did exercises with her left leg, which she then didn't do with her right leg, and I don't like that. Right? It's like she's.
So you could be.
It was like she's forgotten what she did there with one of the legs, and then she did the same thing for the other leg, but not exactly the same. It would be different exercise for the other leg. And I was like, it's not balanced. I can't do that. I have to have the same stuff for both sides of my body. Right?
So it's bullshit, basically.
Because it was just frustrating. But I mean, the idea is great. The idea is great. If she put a bit more, professionality into it.
Is that a word?
It could work.
Professionalism.
I mean, it's got good marketing, but it needs a bit more structure to it, I feel.
It needs to be real and useful.
Yeah.
Okay. Also,
They were really hard workouts, though. You know, really good for your butt. You were the whole like 40 minutes workout was almost all of it was in a half squatty weird position. Really tough for your hamstrings.
The half squatty weird position.
Like you're going to poop. Sorry, I said that word.
Oh God, you've done it. You've done it again. It took you 5 minutes.
I know.
It took you 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's like a wide squat, and you do almost everything from that position. It's
do
pretty
almost
rough.
nothing. I do almost nothing from that position personally.
Oh, that's why your hamstrings are not as strong as they could be.
It's strong enough.
Maybe we should put it on and do it together.
No, I refuse.
Great.
I refuse.
That would be great.
I'm not being negative. I refuse.
You could go and circle your pelvis round and round and
stop it.
know. It's a bit like
You're pelving me.
Mixture of belly dancing and yoga.
Boga.
Yeah. Boga, yes.
Boga. Belly dancing and yoga together.
Yeah, super
Or
cool.
boga. Could be. Boga.
Sorry. Spelled Bogger.
Or Buti, but just pronounced differently. Okay, right. 101 uses for a yoga mat. You can pretend it's a blanket if you're 2 years old, and you can wrap yourself in it and try and fall asleep.
You can pretend you're a sushi roll.
Sushi roll. That could be a kind of weird type of exercise. I was walking through town today. You just said the magic word, which was sushi. First of all, I can't believe that anyone eats that stuff.
That's great.
Secondly, I saw that
you don't like
the samurai sushi restaurant has expanded into the bookshop.
Yeah.
There is now no longer a bookshop, but enlarged samurai sushi
because who knows more? Who needs more books? People need more sushi.
Less books, more sushi. Less books, more sushi. Less books, more sushi.
What a great election motto.
Protest. Yeah. That would probably get you elected here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'd everybody be walking around with samurai t-shirts, and there'd be
holding signs with a big burning. There'd be burning books in the middle of the square.
Yeah, why not? I mean, the books
walking
burn
around
really
with raw fish hanging off their ears for earrings.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That
would be smelly. You have to cook fish. You can't eat it raw.
Yes, you can.
It's not healthy.
It's really good as well.
A technical note. Yeah. I'll move the camera from over there, where it's not, to over there.
Oh.
Where it is.
Oh, hi.
Is this practical parenting for the parents or the kids? I'm really not sure. Right. But I was almost a sentence. Right.
It's like a caveman English.
I don't need words. I can just grunt.
Grunt and ugh.
It's like Curious George, or there was some other ridiculous cartoon where the characters don't use words. It really annoys me when they do that. Right. So the camera's further away because I wanted to give us a bit more scope instead of the angle. We had an angle before, which was kind of nice, but now we're straight on, face on.
So I've
and as a result, I'm getting there. Okay, I'm getting there. Yes, that's the point I want to make. As a result,
we can jump.
No, you're smaller.
Oh.
So, because you kept saying before, it's like, why is your head always out of it? The reason why my head was out of the picture before.
You were closer to the camera.
No, because I had to get you in the middle, right? And because you're so small.
I'm not so small. I'm actually 170 centimeters tall, unless I shrank.
That's if you hang for a couple of days, right?
By the neck.
Right, by the feet, right? And so to get you in the middle, I had to be kind of hanging out. of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so now that the camera's further away on the live broadcast. What's up, Jazzy? I thought Jazzy was going to bed. Now she wants an apple. What's that about? If you wait a minute,
Do you know what
darling,
she ate for lunch today?
Nothing.
She ate 2 carrots and 1 apple.
That's quite good.
No, actually, she ate 3 carrots and 1 apple.
That's even better.
Raw.
Raw. She's she's on the raw road.
She's on the raw road.
She is. Now, that's nice. Now, we're doing this for the first time with the camera here, so I was thinking
We'll
that
keep filming again, yeah?
maybe. No, get it. No, just stay in one place, okay? Don't go anywhere.
But she wants apple peeled.
Just please, everybody, just relax for a second. I have to move the angle of it a little bit.
Well, move it then.
Because I wasn't sure quite how tall you would be, or small.
I liked it before.
Sorry?
No, it's
See,
okay.
I have to come
It's good.
down to make you look bigger.
Squat then.
Well, look. If we're going to be real, look. We'd need. You could do that with the camera, I suppose, and then you sort of be on the same.
Oh God.
Anyway, sorry.
We're okay.
Right.
I'll just go further up, back, front.
No, stay behind me. You block out the light. You do actually block out the light when you move there. I get all dark.
Squat.
All the light is.
Like that.
What?
You can just do that. Stay like that.
Why would I want to do that?
Because it exercises your hands.
Oh no!
I wanted to poke your hamstrings.
Not where my hamstrings are.
That's because suddenly you got all smaller.
That's not where my hamstring lies. It's around the back, okay?
Sorry, I'm mistaken.
When was the last time somebody's hamstring hung down between their legs?
Mistaken ham for sausage. I think.
Oh dear.
Sorry.
Could have happened to anybody, you know? But it didn't, did it? Protect myself here.
You should wear that thing that hockey players wear.
What, a mask?
For your jewelry.
Well, I could put all my rings in it.
Yeah.
That's lovely. That's absolutely fantastic. Right. Hey, maybe she's gonna fall asleep over there if we just keep talking.
You think? Okay, let's just keep talking then.
Right. Let's get on with it.
Let's. So what's new?
Well, I made some notes,
What notes?
and I don't know what they mean. I wrote down some ideas. Well,
That used to happen to me at the interpreting when I was at university, and you know when you do interpreting and you have to make notes.
I don't do
Well,
that.
sometimes when you interpret, you have to wait for the speaker to finish their like a longer.
You have to wait for them to finish what they're saying.
Yes.
Like you never do with me.
Exactly.
Right.
So and it's sometimes they just
Look at so much more space here now. You can put your foot on the table.
sometimes they just don't stop talking. And you have to take notes, right? And after they're finished, then you look at your notes and you basically, you use them as a help for your memory to remember what they said. Because
Notes help.
I
Amazing
know.
revelation. Notes
I know.
help you remember.
And most of the time you have no idea what you wrote down because they were talking so fast. You would need to know stenograph or whatever, and you don't.
Who?
Like shorthand. Yeah, you don't.
Who? What?
So shorthand.
Is that a character from a western? Old shorthand.
No,
Let's
we call it stenograph in Slovak, but I think it's called shorthand in English.
Right.
It's the special type of writing where
silly,
you've
I
got
know.
like one symbol for a word instead of a letter or whatever. It's what they
like a
used in
different-
law in court and whatever to be able to write really fast by hand.
So instead of writing the, you just use like a letter T or something, right? So
You just, instead of writing the, you just write a special type of line with a dot on top of it or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
You know, so it's a completely,
shrunk again.
it's a completely different type of writing. I've never learned it or even researched it. I just know about it because I read.
You do what?
Read.
What's that?
It's the thing you do with your eyes
Ah.
when you're looking at letters and turning pages.
Ah.
And you're not actually talking to book. You're actually reading what's written in it.
Excuse me, talking to.
I read
book.
I read that somewhere.
What's that?
Where's that? Didn't I read it in your? Didn't I read it in your? In your email thing
my
that you
daily
know.
mail, my
Yes,
free mail.
your free mail when you wrote about
Subscribe for.
Yeah, you
motivation,
wrote
advice,
one of them
inspiration.
about the literacy of slaves in America.
Yes, that'll be
And
me.
that was a
what I
story
read about.
about a
Can you put your hand on there so that.
darling.
Jazzy, would you like an apple?
Okay.
Do you want to come up here and join me on the podcast while Mummy's getting you an apple? No,
Just come on.
Just come on. Okay, go do your thing, and I will
I need to finish the story.
filibuster. Can't think of an adverb to go with that, so I'll just do my thing. Right. Welcome to Practical Parenting. If you haven't tuned in before, we try to get to the core, the root. We try to dig deep underground and find some information about parenting that will allow us to resonate and connect with people and maybe share something of use and share something of value. You know how they say they grow up so fast, well, what we're trying to do is capture the moments. We're trying to use these podcasts to capture moments of life as they pass us by, basically, as we experience them, as we live through them, as we watch our children grow and have their experiences. We have this opportunity to discuss it with other people, to suggest good advice from things that we've learned, and to listen to other people's good advice as well, and bring all these things together in a podcast. So
Anyway, so the story.
what was the story?
Right? It was a story
Welcome
about
back.
some slave who learned how to read, and then he.
Oh God, what's his problem now?
He can't reach the toilet.
Can you not send one of the kids to? Why? You can't. We can't do a podcast if you keep running around after the kids around the flat. Well, he's normally on the toilet forever anyway, so it's not going to make any difference if you leave him there now. My suggestion is to ask one of the other children to help him with that problem. Get the siblings to help the siblings. Anyway, Yanka was telling us a story. So, what was the point of the story anyway?
The point was that there was
what was the story? I've forgotten already.
It was a slave who learned how to read,
yes.
and then he taught
Was
all
it,
the other slaves how to read. And
Was it Bastiat?
I don't know, but he was. I remember the story where he said, and later on or whenever he said it, that he was always wondering why people talk to books, because he saw his master reading to his children, and he felt that they were talking to the book. And he said that he took the books, in the library, and he tried talking to them, but they never answered back.
Well, I guess that's the same experience as someone who's never seen a computer before, or a certain type of technology. I guess that
I remember my grandfather.
know how it works.
I remember my grandfather seeing a computer game for the first time in his life. He was about 90 back then. No, he wasn't. He was 80 something, 86 or so. And
I bet you that puzzled him. I bet he had.
Well, he had a
why would
television
you-
at home. You see, he had like an old black and white telly, and he always enjoyed watching our big, colorful telly. If he came to visit, he only really came at Christmas. We usually came to visit him, and I remember that once he came for Christmas, and he saw my brother playing on a computer. And he was just, he looked at it and he was amazed. He just
like in a
watched.
positive way or a negative way, or what was?
I just couldn't understand it. He was like, "How are you making?" He's like, "Are you actually making those pictures in the television move?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
And he just couldn't get over the fact that my brother was the one who could make things happen in the television, right? So he's like, "How come those things move when you move this?" Right? He's just puzzled.
The things that so many
wow.
Things that so many people take for granted now, like you move the mouse, or you run your finger across the mouse pad and the little arrow moves around on the screen. I mean, people just take that for granted. Or you with all this touch technology.
I know.
Can you imagine if some child from today, well, it went back 50 years, they'd be walking around just like poking their finger at everything to see if they could get it to work. Like kids today don't even know what a cassette tape is. They don't know. It's like you tell them, oh, this is it's especially Western kids, right? I mean, maybe if you live in some other country, I mean, maybe that's your only access to music or recording things or whatever. But they would tell kids, oh, this is music, and they'd be like trying to put the cassette tape in their ear, trying to listen to it, because they
you're talking about kids walking around touching things and saying if it works. I just remembered your mom. I called her once on Skype, and she said that she had difficulties. She couldn't get things to work, and she was going on her iPad or whatever she has, and then she told me. Then she called me back and she told me. I realized what the problem was. I was trying to control the laptop screen.
touching it with her finger.
Yeah. So I guess we all get confused sometimes by all this stuff. But I remember seeing my first smartphone. I was at university when I saw my first smartphone. And my friend showed me it, and she was like, "Oh, blah, 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 let's watch this on YouTube." And I was like, "Ooh, cool. I want that toy."
Yeah, I remember I was in a pub and somebody had like the first iPhone or something, and they could just click on it and it would bring up a video from YouTube and watch the video, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like,
I like that.
And first time I saw it with that YouTube video that she showed me, first thing I thought was, that just looks so complicated. I'm never going to be able to learn how to work with a smartphone. It's the first thing that came into my mind. First thing came into my mind.
Supposed to simplify things.
It was like, I've got this really simple phone that you can do phone calls with, right? And I'm like, I don't want something that complicated. Right? It's just, I don't know why it seemed so complicated to me. It just did at the time.
The reaction to new things.
Just the fact that she had, probably the fact that it had so many functions, and she could access so much information through it, probably just overwhelmed my brain there for a little while. But then I got like, it's actually quite cool.
It's, people have them for reasons. They are relatively useful, basically. Right, wherever he is with that tablet, I do not want to hear that. Okay, so.
Well, I got my first smartphone.
Wait. Oh. Wait. No, solve problems to solve.
What problems to solve?
Well.
He's got his sound off.
He's no. I can hear it. I can hear it very clearly going.
Yeah. You can?
He's definitely not got the sound off.
Okay, give him a shout.
Where is he? Will, turn the sound off, please, mate. Thank you. See?
Okay.
There you go. You seriously couldn't hear that at all.
I didn't realize it was coming from a tablet.
That was like.
That's because I saw him
on the... You thought there were spaceships outside shooting each other with lasers?
I thought it was coming from the movie. I thought... I saw him on the toilet.
When was the last time you saw Tinkerbell with a laser cannon? Right?
I saw him on the toilet and he had his sound off at the loose, so I didn't, it didn't even occur to me that it could have been coming from a sound.
No, in the toilet is maybe the one place where you should have the sound on. Right? Because you don't need to hear other stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
Hey, we had this really cool thing when we were students at our student flat, with a friend who hooked up the radio to the light switch. So as soon as you turn the light on in the loo, the radio turned on, so that nobody hears you doing your business. It's actually really cool. We were very proud of that.
If you're living in a small space, I can see the benefits of that.
Especially if there's like 7 people.
I remember when I was a student, I was doing a theatre course, and I met this French guy who was a bit weird. He'd obviously been living on the street for a while, because that does things to people. And I think he had green hair as well, which long green hair.
Same thing happened to me in Paris, only with an English guy. Sorry, continue.
So I don't know. After you've been living on the street for a while, you tend to think that some things are normal, which are obviously not.
Yeah.
And he was telling us about his flat, and he was saying, yeah, the curtain in the toilet is broken. Mm-hmm. I was like, the curtain in the toilet is broken?
Toilet doesn't have a curtain.
Yeah, I was thinking, what are you talking about? And he lived in a flat that didn't actually have a toilet as a separately.
Yeah.
The toilet was in the living room, and there was just a curtain.
No.
Seriously, and he was happy with that. Can you believe that? I mean,
well, I imagine if you live on the street and then you get somewhere to sleep, then you probably are just happy that you're warm, right?
Yeah, it's better than being under a bridge somewhere. Yeah. Absolutely. But I don't know what some people are prepared to accept as normal is quite.
Well, when we went to work in Paris, we lived in this little. They call it, the French call it a studio, right? It's a little flat, like for students.
It's like a toilet with a kitchen.
It's not really a flat. It's just a room, and that one was like one room.
This is our studio. It's like a box.
It's like 2 rooms. Only the first one was really little, and it was just like a entry thing. And then you came into the room that had a little kitchen on one side. Right next to it had a shower. Okay, with a curtain.
It reminds
and then it had a television and what do you call it? Sofa, right? Where you slept. And that was it. And the toilet was in the corridor. It wasn't in the room or in the flat.
But no, actually,
it's in the corridor.
Not in the middle of the corridor. Like it was a
well, room. No, it was a room. Okay, it was a bathroom. It was like a common lavatory for all the residents that lived on that floor of the block of flats. Lavatory. This is hot lava spewing out of the toilet bowl.
After the chicken vindaloo, right?
Yeah.
Lovely.
After you flushed.
Students will accept anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I definitely do not want to go back to. I remember when I was a student looking for a place to live, and of course, you've got a choice between bug-infested flea pit and smelly hovel, or a box under local bridge, right? And I went around these places, and in one of the rooms there were beds there were just mattresses and no beds.
Yeah.
And I asked the guy, asked the guy, so why are there mattresses and no beds? Oh, we had to take everything out and off and out. I said, why? Oh, the last people who were here pissed on the beds before they left.
No.
I think she told me that. Can you believe that? There are actually people who
do that
before they leave a flat actually do horrible stuff like that. Went to another place. This was the same day. I went to another place. I blocked all the stuff out of my mind. It was all horrible. And there was this. I don't know if they've still got it. In England, they used to be able to buy this cheap, horrible wine, and they've got a lot of this in Slovakia. The chucho or whatever they call it.
The hradná svíca, the castle candle.
Melts your brain. But it's usually quite strong. Anyway, there was this wine called Thunderbird, I think it's called. Okay. And it was just super strong and really horrible.
Sounds like it gave you a big headache after you drink it.
Yeah. And I went into another place, and there were a group of people sitting all cross-legged on the floor in the room, playing with guns and drinking Thunderbird. I was thinking, I don't really want to stay in this place.
Oh God.
So,
yeah, we had mattresses. We had a chair that we found by the. You know how when people throw out stuff, they leave it by the trash cans outside for the truck to pick it up, or for gypsies or students to take it home.
When you've got rubbish, you put it in the rubbish bin, right?
But when you've got something big that you know that somebody else might come and take, you leave it next to the rubbish can and wait for people to take it. That's what you do in Slovakia.
No, you don't, because then all your shit is going to be on the street. And what if nobody wants it? You just leave your shit.
If nobody knows it and wants it, once a week.
You just leave your stuff on the street.
Yes, you can. Because
you can't. That's a horrible thing to do.
Once a week.
Somebody's got to clean it up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The dustman comes once a week.
Oh, do you think he's happy? There's
the chair and the dust cart, whatever there is.
I think they can do that if somebody's like small wooden thing, but they can't do it with bigger. You can't just take an armchair and throw it in a dust cart.
I don't know.
You can't do that because the rubbish has to be in smaller pieces.
Anyway, people do it in Slovakia. Okay, whether it's right or wrong, they do it.
You don't even know.
And I don't know, sweetie. It's time to sit down and chillax.
Are you going to watch Tinkerbell, darling? Yeah.
We'll go and look for it. Ask Will. He'll know, maybe.
Yeah. Will sometimes knows these things.
And,
she didn't sleep for long.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do it, okay?
What? I thought you just did
I wouldn't leave an armchair near a trash can. No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say that. I said we found it.
Didn't I help you?
By the trash can.
Didn't I once help you leave an armchair by a trash can?
I don't know. Did you? Oh wait, did they throw it out after they were moving out? The flat.
I helped you move stuff out of one of your flats.
Which
and
one was
carry
that?
it downstairs.
Yeah? Which flat was that?
There
must have been the flat. I know which one it was, but that was a different flat.
Don't play with the cables. It's one of the rules.
I'm not playing with them. I just held them so I can move my leg.
You just remove it. Remove your leg.
Move my leg.
Don't do that.
Because I didn't want to hook my leg on the cables, so that would do a lot of damage.
What are you doing with your legs that you might actually hook it onto cables? What are you doing?
I'm making myself comfortable.
You're standing on one leg.
Yes. It's comfortable, okay. Any people out there who like to stand on one leg?
No.
It's a tree pose. It's actually very relaxing.
Standing on one leg?
Yeah.
It's not relaxing for that leg, though. No. Don't do it. Whatever you're going to do, don't do it.
So
it's a bad idea.
So yeah, we found mattresses and we found an armchair, yada yada yada. So yep, that's how students in Slovakia sometimes furnish their apartments.
You furnished your apartment with stuff from the trash.
It didn't smell. You're students. Where are you supposed to get an armchair when you're a student?
What do you need an armchair for?
To sit on a balcony.
No one has armchairs on the balcony.
Well, we did.
How big was your balcony? Big enough for half an armchair.
Big enough for 2 armchairs.
And nothing else.
And a little table in between to put your beer on.
And your chucha.
Yeah.
Right.
That happened.
So, I want to run this by you, right? I just had this thought. Okay, this is not. Is this related to parenting? This is related to logic.
None of what we were talking about
was related to
up till now was related to parenting. So just keep it. Keep on going.
No, you could run the student thing into parenting because it's about progress. It's about how you move on. It's about how you move up, right? Yeah. It's about different values at different points in times, and parents send their kids off to university, and they don't have much money, so they've got to scrape together everything that they can to get by, really, don't they? I mean, it's
Oh, it's a
hard.
bit of a life lesson for the students, isn't it?
Well, it
Just
is.
for the first time in your life, things don't come free.
Well, nothing. You shouldn't think that anything's coming free, right?
Yes, but when
There's
you're a
price for
kid,
everything.
when you're a kid, I'm talking about when you're a kid, you don't pay for your shoes and you don't pay for your food. Your parents pay for it, so it comes
Yeah,
free
but the
to you.
parents expect some kind of response, right? The
What
parents.
do you mean, some kind of response?
You know, if the parents are getting the children what they need to have a good quality of life, they sort of expect some kind of behavior, from the children in return, don't they?
No.
I mean, you're expecting.
No,
you're expecting some kind of good
parents take
behavior
care
from-
of their children because they made their children and because they want to provide for them the best they can. Not because
No,
they expect good behavior. I mean, I don't.
They want good behavior, right? And you're not going to give the child everything that the child wants if the child's not behaving.
Oh, you know what I think about behavior, though, right?
I don't know what that means.
Child behavior is directly parent generated, or or school generated, or whatever environment they are in generated.
So the environment generates the behavior.
Mostly.
So are you saying that the environment directly, or those who control the environment control the behavior?
Both of them. You don't control the behavior. I'm not saying you control the behavior. I'm saying that it's at the root of the behavior, right? I mean, if you've got a kid that behaves horribly, right? Or I don't know, if you've got a kid that's cheeky and swears at you and calls you names and slams the doors and destroys your stuff, then obviously you've done something wrong, right? Or you're doing something wrong. Because that kid, still being a kid, it's not his fault. It's not his fault that he can't be normal, okay? That he can't deal with his emotions, that he can't, that he doesn't understand the value of things, or whatever your problem is.
So it's the parent. What about, say the child goes off to university, right? And misbehaves at university.
Well, it's not a child anymore.
Isn't there a transition phase when a person leaves home where they're perhaps not ready for the responsibilities that are going to come?
But they are
quickly?
Directly responsible. They're 18.
Yeah,
They're even legally responsible for everything.
Yeah, but you don't just wake up
do.
on your 18th birthday and suddenly become responsible.
No, you have to teach them. You have to
but-
teach them to be responsible ever since they're 6 months old, right? You just teach them responsibility ever since you can communicate it to them. But okay, but sorry, you didn't finish your question.
Was I asking a question?
Yeah, it's something about what if a kid goes to university?
Oh yeah, what if a kid goes to university, and what if their behavior at university is less than acceptable because they suddenly have this freedom that they never had before, and when they were at home they were all good and nice, but there's
Less
no one.
than acceptable. What does that mean?
Well, they make problems.
What kind of problems?
Legal
Legal problems?
Say that they get into trouble. Maybe they're getting bad marks because they're not focused on their study. Maybe they're staying out late. Maybe they're drinking and partying.
If they're getting bad grades because they're not focusing on their studying, well,
isn't that?
I talk to them, right? I would
But
talk.
they should be in the part of the college environment should be the right environment for preparing for things like
Well, I
these
would say,
things.
what do you want to do? Do you want this degree or do you not want this degree?
Oh no, that's a false question, because everyone's going to say they want it. That's not going to get you anywhere.
Well, not everyone. Some kids are forced by their parents to go to university that they don't want to go to in the first place.
Well, yeah, but that.
I mean, I have a cousin that left university in his 4th year because he decided that that's just not what he wants to do. And he was, one more year and he would be a certified architect.
Mm-hmm.
And he decided that he wants to play piano in bars, right?
How's that going for him?
That's fine.
He's playing piano in bars.
Yeah.
Are there any bars with pianos in them?
He teaches music, I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I know that he has a business that deals with programming websites or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he got into something completely unrelated, but he still does a lot of music. So
that's kind of cool.
So there, I mean, you left university as well, right?
Yeah, I did. I just walked out.
You didn't want a
day.
degree, obviously, that much.
I set things up so I could go back, but I just, it didn't seem like the real world to me. The real world to me seemed like other things happening in other places. So I went out to explore it.
Yes, I mean, if the kid is not doing
brick instantly.
If the kid is not doing well and is not doing anything to do well or to do better.
Hold that thought for 2 seconds. Check the audio.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just checking the streams are going.
If
okay.
if he's not showing any effort to do any better, or if he's not showing any effort to do anything at all, then I think question, do you actually want to do this, is the right question. And why? If he says yes, then why do you want to do this? Why do you want to stay at the university? I'm not going to pay for a bloody university if you don't, if it doesn't work for you. Because that would be just a waste of time and money, right?
Why do parents do that then? Why do parents pay for their children to go to university if the children are not satisfied there? I mean,
Expectations.
Let's take my example, right? I explained to my parents, I said, I'm not satisfied, I'm not comfortable, I'm not happy, I want to leave. And my parents were like, you have to stay. And I was like, no, I'm definitely going to leave. We'll give you a car if you stay. That's what my parents said to me. If you stay at university, stay in the course, we'll give you a car. I'm like, I don't want a car. You're not listening to me. It's that to me is like saying, I'm not hungry, and them going, no, look, we've got chocolate cake. I'm like, no, I'm actually not hungry. No, look, chocolate cake.
Yeah, I get it.
Completely misses the point.
Expectations. I watched a video that I posted on my 21st Century Mum, spelled M-U-M, page on Facebook.
Okay.
Which is a little compilation of some points made by Brené Brown. Brené Brown?
I have no idea who you're talking about. She might be world famous, but I have no idea.
She's a genius woman. And she made this point, about children at some point.
Is she blue?
Did
she come out with that? Or a lantern?
Anyway, she made this point about children that, when you have a little baby, I think it was her who made that point. So I watched a few things today. But when you have a little baby, you don't go, oh, you're perfect and you are going to, be in the World Cup or whatever. You shouldn't expect them to be perfect and to perform perfectly throughout their life for you. But what you should approach that baby with is you're wired. She said you're wired for struggle, right? And
tell your kids this.
She was talking about little babies, when you have little babies, right?
Okay.
She said, because she was talking about perfectionism, basically. And she said, when you've got a little baby, you realize that there's going to be struggle, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you are willing to accept them with everything that comes with it, right? So basically, parents who are not willing to accept their children as they are, they're not willing to validate their children for what their strengths and their weaknesses are, then they then have unrealistic expectations for their children. They put their perfectionism, they project their perfectionism onto their kids, and they expect their kids to be perfect, and it's horrible for the kids. It's horrible. It's horrible because because kids are not stupid. They feel this, right? They don't know how to say it, but they feel that they are living with people who are constantly disappointed in them if they are being themselves, right? The kids feel, I have to be this way for my mother to be happy with me. If I'm going to be myself, she's going to be disappointed. She's not going to love me or whatever. You don't, as a parent, of course, if you told that to the parents, they would be like, oh, but no, that's not true. I'm going to love the child whatever happens, right?
Mm-hmm. Talking about parents.
Got a little blink.
It's my mother on Messenger.
Yeah.
Don't know which country she's in.
Canada.
Still.
Yeah.
How do you know more about that than me?
So, because I communicate with her.
Ah.
You don't communicate with her.
No, I don't.
There you go.
I don't. My life is more comfortable.
So yeah, if you have your expectations, you have high expectations on the kids, and then the kids feel the pressure and they feel that that the love is conditioned. They feel like my parents' love is conditioned. I have to perform. I have to be this way for my parents to accept me, for my parents to love me. And that's a horrible place to be in for the first 18 years of your life.
Well, trying to live up to your parents' expectations. Yeah.
Yes. And you never will, because you're just yourself. You can't be perfect. Right? And if you actually realize that this is not what I want to be myself, I want to be this. It's like that little bunny in that movie, in that Hop movie, right? Who wanted to drum, and his father wanted him to be the Easter bunny. So if you realize that, I don't want to be the Easter bunny, I actually just want to drum, but I know that my parents will never accept that, then that must be a tough point to be in, because you know that it's just because your parents' love is everything for you when you're a kid. It's the whole world. So I don't even want to imagine, what it must be like to grow up in a place where you feel that if I just relax and if I'm just myself or do what I want, I'm not going to be accepted.
Well, when you're young, trying to keep your parents happy is like trying to please the gods.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It is, because they are the gods, because they provide for you. You're everything. They're the ultimate boss, right?
It's true.
So you're completely dependent on them. So you have to please them, right? Because they can take away anything they decide to.
And they do sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
And take away rights, privileges.
Yeah.
They control the finances. To control what you wear.
Yeah.
Which clubs you
join. Oh God, that's why I go for less control and more autonomy for children, because it must be so frustrating. It's like, who told me that? Did I read that on Facebook? I can't even remember, but somebody mentioned to me or wrote on Facebook, if my daughter misbehaves. I found out that my daughter likes her dresses. So if she misbehaves, we take away the dresses, right? And she has to wear whatever else she has. And then if she's nice again, or good girl or whatever, then we give her the dresses one by one. And I'm thinking, that's just horrible. It's like training a freaking guinea pig or something, right? It's just not. It just goes completely against my everything. That kind of behavior towards the kids, it's humiliating.
So what would be a solution to the situation of, what would be an alternative to not letting the children wear the dress? I mean, obviously communication would be very important.
Communication. I don't agree with punishment, okay? I just don't agree with punishment, whatever the form it is, whether it's a timeout or a beating or taking away dresses or whatever. I just don't like that. I like either you let them experience the natural consequence, and I'm talking about the natural consequence, right? you talk to them and you try to communicate it out. You try to find out. You ask, well, what would work for you? Or, I don't know what kind of bad behavior that could be. I mean, what would it be? Well, like, say they're fighting with their younger sibling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they hit them. They hit the younger sibling. Well, then I just talk it out and say, why did you do that? Is there anything that we can do? I would explain, this is not the way that we solve conflicts. Is there anything that we can do to help? Why did you hit the child? Okay, well, my younger sibling was playing with my stuff. Okay, well, can we find a place for your stuff where your younger sibling won't be able to reach it, right? Could you have talked to the younger sibling first? Could you maybe tell us when you have a problem so that we can help you solve it without hitting anybody? You don't have to punish them. Because
the
that's
sign
just
of panic in the background there.
It's just not how you solve conflicts. That's how you escalate conflicts.
Yeah, it's important not to become part of the conflict itself. When the conflict arises, it's important to, in your mind, distance yourself from the conflict that's happening, the same way that you have to distance the conflict itself from the people involved in the conflict, the person from the action.
How do you mean? Give me a practical example.
The act from the actor.
Give me a practical example. What do you mean?
Of distancing yourself.
Mm-hmm. In this conflict, that a young sibling comes, starts playing with the stuff, and the older sibling comes and punches them in the face because they don't want them to play with his stuff, okay?
Yeah, well, first of all, you've got to realize that is a problem which obviously started a long time ago.
Yeah, I know, but give me example of what you just said about distancing yourself from the conflict, because I don't understand.
Well, not to
sounds
walk
too
into,
abstract to me.
Okay, no, not. A conflict already exists.
Yes.
So don't become part of it. Don't become part of the conflict.
How could you become part of the conflict? What should you not do?
Well, let's say the boys are. Say it's two boys, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
imagine that. Because you said punch, I just imagine it's two boys.
I imagined two girls, but okay. It's just because I have a younger sister.
And you were obviously very aggressive to her when you were younger. So that doesn't matter. Boys or girls, it doesn't really make much difference, I don't think. So if it were boys, you don't want to become part of the argument itself, right? The boys are already maybe shouting at each other.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want them to be shouting at you as well, and you don't want to be shouting at them because that's doing the same thing.
Okay.
So you want to psychologically distance yourself from the conflict that's actually happening. You want to be involved in trying to resolve it.
Mm-hmm. But you're not part of it.
On the resolution of it, but you don't want to be part of it.
Could that mean that you shouldn't take sides with any of them, maybe, or? I'm just trying to understand.
Well, you can only take a side once you have all the information. So you can't really objectively take a side until you know everything that's happened. You can't do that until you've communicated to everybody about what's going on. And the serious conflicts rarely arise from one thing happening in one place at one time.
Yeah, it's more of a mindset
events.
kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and so that's what I mean by separating the act from the actor. Is realizing that you don't want to charge in with the same mindset that already exists. The mindset that already exists is, take control of everything and be aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to launch yourself into a situation which already has that, creating one problem.
Mm-hmm.
So the strategy is be there, talk about what you can see happening that is there, explain to people what you have observed, ask other people what they have observed, and try to search for root causes at that point in time, which might be fair. I mean, you want to deflect as much as possible onto other activities. You want to get the young people to, if possible, move on to things more constructive, because focusing on conflict just makes the conflict bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think it's focusing on getting people to move on to the next thing. And
Yeah.
young people hopefully will go with the flow of that and realize
Yeah.
what's happening. Just like, once again, the analogy is football, right? Somebody gets tackled, it's not a fair tackle, it's a foul. What happens? The ref blows the whistle, the game stops, you give the ball to the other team, and you get on with the game,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't continue arguing about the foul, because for anything to happen, the game has to continue.
Yeah.
So you just keep moving.
Absolutely.
Going with the
Well,
flow.
I just wanted to elaborate on the natural consequences as opposed to punishments, right? I just wanted to give some examples. For example, if which happened before to me, right? We would go to a restaurant and Zora she was much younger than now. She might have been, I don't know, maybe 3 years old. And she would, I would ask her politely to say, be quiet, not to shout or not to yell or whatever. And it wasn't a situation where it was completely in her power to do that, okay? It wasn't in a situation of distress where she's hit her head or something, yeah? So I had to ask her multiple times, and she wouldn't do it. She would still be, very, very loud and doing things that she was not supposed to be doing. So what I did was, I would take them out. We finished very quickly our meal, and I would take them out, and I would just say, look, this is what happened. This is why it wasn't good. We were disturbing all the other people there that were trying to eat, peacefully. And I just said, I'm not going to be able to take you to a restaurant anymore, right? Because if you can't, be considerate, when it comes to other people who are eating there, then we just can't do it.
Place and purpose, right? Place and purpose, because why do people go to restaurants?
To eat.
To eat. They don't go to restaurants to listen to other people fighting.
Yeah.
So
I just said, well, we won't be able to do that. And she was very upset because she liked going to the restaurants. And the next time I said, well, okay, guys, we're all hungry. I think we're just going to get a snack, because last time we had a problem in a restaurant. And she would go, oh, no, we can go to a restaurant. She'd be like, I'll be quiet. I won't be too loud. I said, okay, well, let's give it a try and we'll see, okay? And if it doesn't work out, then it's going to be a snack. And it worked. And she was all right, It wasn't a punishment. It was a completely natural consequence, and she understood why she has to be quiet in the restaurant. She didn't get the message that she has to be quiet in the restaurant because otherwise she won't get her tablet for 2 weeks, Okay. But she understood that it's because we have to be considerate towards other people.
Yeah, explaining what is happening in the world around about is very important, because not everybody sees things the same way, and the world is very confusing. People have different things on their mind. So being aware of the fact that different behaviors are required in different environments. The way that you dance across the living room is not the way that you stand in line at the post office. It could be, make life more interesting, but you've got to realize that there are certain rules that society has that exist for very good reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have to teach it to the kids. As much independent and open-minded we want them to be, there are things that they have to respect. I read a post about this actually this morning. This lady was asking, how about kids and nudity? It's just like, my 2.5-year-old wanted to take his pants off when we were walking in the street the other day because he was warm. And she said, I just told him that when we're out in the public walking down the street, it's better to keep our pants on because
Did she
of
mean
other
like,
people, yada, yada, yada.
like underwear or trousers?
No, sorry, trousers.
It's the American pants.
Sorry,
Trousers.
yeah,
No,
trousers.
no, that's okay.
And yeah, trousers. And she was asking, was I right to do this, or should I have just let him take his clothes off? as
What a ridiculous question to ask.
as an, like bodily autonomy and whatever. I mean, it was his choice to take his pants off.
If it was a good idea, all kids would be just walking around naked everywhere. I mean, that's silly. I mean, it's not. The point is, it's not a healthy thing to do. It's related to health. It's not a healthy thing to do to walk down the street naked. It's not.
What do you mean healthy?
Well, the reason why we have clothes is for health.
Well, to keep us warm,
fashion.
really.
It's for health.
It's to keep us warm. But this kid was too hot.
Yes, but clothes are also like protection as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, the kid is too hot. Well, maybe she made a mistake. Maybe the kid should have been wearing shorts.
Yeah, she was. I think she did the right thing because she mentioned, he can do that at home all he wants. He can run around naked at home all he wants, and he likes to do that. But I was wondering,
I would say
how do you approach?
What if a dog comes along and bites his thing? I mean,
you just don't like animals, do you?
I've seen animals do very bad things to very good people. So. So there, and I've seen their owners not punished for that, and I think that's wrong, and I don't see my opinion on that changing at any point in time. Right. I wanted to finish a little bit with mathematics actually today.
Okay.
I know that you've been doing some maths with the kids recently, and I know that Will's been putting his times table together, and that Zora's recognizing the numbers. I like that activity you did with putting the conkers into different jars, and then like asking how much is it when you put them together. That was really nice. So I have some information about how parents can help their kids with mathematics, and I wanted your feedback. It's like a yay or nay kind of thing. So
is this the questions again?
Oh no, it's just
questions time.
Question time. It's just a yay or nay, which means do you think it would work, or do you think it would not work? Right?
Okay.
So
I like this.
So way number one, look for patterns and shapes that exist in real life and point them out to the children.
Yes.
Yeah, so that would be like, oh, look, there's a funny shaped window over there. It's nice and round. Or, oh, the top of that building looks like a pyramid. Or
the kids do that themselves. If you don't even have to point out the patterns to them. They are so observant that they always observe these things. Even Will did something the other day, something with his food, and he would be like, oh, look, I made a pattern.
Oh, look at that. Somebody's had a heart attack online.
I don't think so. I think that's just Facebook bug kind of thing.
Oh,
Facebook just wants to lift our spirits.
Okay, so there's a Facebook bug which just gives people thumbs up randomly.
Apparently. Thanks, Facebook.
Thank you,
it's really
Facebook.
nice.
We love you.
It's really nice.
We love you too, even though you won't let us put adverts on.
Or maybe somebody's kid just got to a phone and started pressing a button or whatever.
It's a thumbs up. No. The more thumbs up and the more hearts we get, I think the more it sort of gets out on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
And the more people kind of get access to it.
That would be cool.
Or maybe they just charge you more for adverts or something. I don't know how it works.
They don't, because they've blocked my account.
Still blocked.
Still blocked.
Still blocked by Facebook.
And I talk to people.
Naughty girl,
oh look, we got hearts. And
look, there's a heart.
And we, I talk to people in a social media group, support group on Facebook. And they were like,
Facebook has a social media support group.
No, it's not Facebook social media support group. It's just people who work with social media. And they all said, oh yes, that happened to me as well. Well, what I had to do is I had to write them at least 6 messages or 7 messages.
Can I have another heart, please? Can you put one more heart on the screen, please, just for me? Is that a heart? That's not a heart, is it?
Well, it looked like a donut. I don't know.
I can't do a heart. I can't do it. My hands are all funny.
Like that.
Oh.
Yay! Oh look! Oh my God! I'm gonna have a heart attack.
Somebody has just had one already.
Anyway, what was I saying?
So happy now.
So they said. You know, you just have to be really persistent, and you have to be really polite and professional about it, and they will reactivate it eventually. And I'm like,
well, reactivate your...
So I have to stick myself into somebody's...
Oh, basically what they said is sit and wait.
No.
Sit and
no,
wait.
They said bug them about it, but be very nice and very professional and very kind. Not kind. What word did they use? No. That the very polite. The emails are supposed to be extremely polite, right? And I'm like, I'm not going to climb up somebody else's backside.
It's really hard to write a polite mail when you're angry.
When you're extremely angry, because instead of replying to you, they just send you automated messages. Mm-hmm. And after you get the automated message, after the third time, the politeness just kind of, starts to plummet because you're like frustrated and helpless, and helpless kind of goes directly to angry.
And angry goes straight back into helpless. And
the politeness is not in any of those, okay?
I don't know. There should be some generic email that you can just copy and paste.
It took them about 3 weeks, but they did reactivate mine. And I'm like, what? So you're basically relying on somebody being in a good mood, liking your emails, and deciding that finally, after 8 emails they received from you, they're going to reactivate your Facebook account. I mean, is there something wrong with this system, or is it just me?
I don't know. You probably get more like praying to the gods, though, than writing emails
Probably, yes. If I pray to Shiva, she'll reactivate my account with her 8 arms.
There's an idea. Anyway.
Is it a she or a he? I never know, by the way.
You're asking the wrong person. Yeah, it's really thought though. Anything about that. So
I should research that. What gender is Shiva?
You can do that. And
I thought it was a woman.
Tell us. Anyway,
yeah.
Okay. Right. Number 2.
Sorry.
Number 2. Have your child measure ingredients for a recipe that you are making or they are making. Good idea?
That is a good idea if you have kitchen skills.
You don't have kitchen skills?
I don't have kitchen skills.
How do you weigh stuff then? How do you know how much you're putting in?
I don't.
Little bit of this and a little bit of that.
I kind of improvise.
Pinch and
it has worked so far, hasn't it?
The carrot cake was fantastic.
See?
It was. I'll give you 10 out of 10 for the carrot cake. It was great.
That was improvised.
The bread before that was...
Didn't like it because it was buckwheat.
Definitely was.
Buckwheat has
wherever that is, it definitely...
Buckwheat has that kind of wet cardboard aftertaste.
Yeah, I imagine that eating the kid's doll's house would have the same taste.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Number 3. Ask your child to explain the maths that they are doing.
Oh, that always works with everything.
Tell me more.
Well, if you ask them when they're learning something, and the best way to learn something is by teaching it, or by explaining it to somebody,
or by imagining that you're going to have to teach it. That's a good state to.
Well, when I was at university and I learned something, right? I studied something, I learned something. I did the most annoying things that everybody hated.
That's hard to believe.
I know. We would go to this room where we'd be all waiting for our turn to be examined, and
you just lie down here.
Not like doctor examination. I'm talking about, oral examination at school. Anyway.
You just reminded me of something.
What?
I was listening to the Stefan Molyneux college show, right? And I'm not sure I can... this girl was all talking about health and her healthy lifestyle and how she wanted to be all healthy and blah 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 blah, and they're talking about her problems in her sexual relationship with her partner, and I'm talking about kids,
hello,
which I wasn't. we've got someone who's come to join us here.
What is that?
Oh, wonderful! What have you brought us, darling? What have you brought us?
What do you want me to do with it? You don't know.
You don't know what you're going to do with it. You're going to
It's
get
not
inside.
going to work.
Darling, why don't you sit in it or something? Because standing on it when it's... I don't know, what is that? What has she got?
Weird IKEA box.
An IKEA box that's made of material and folds into nothing.
Folds in,
It will not survive as a seat.
I like how you call fabric material.
Why don't you put her on the chair and bring her into the podcast here? Would you want to sit on the chair, darling? Oh, look, who's that?
You want to sit here?
Wait, no, not there. You're going to have to do it. I've got a plan. As always, I've got a plan. You're going to have to put her down.
She's not happy, Daddy.
I'm going to have to move the chair if you're... Yes.
What would you like?
Give me the chair, and the chair is going to have to go into the middle if
What
we're going
would
to
you
have
like, darling?
Would you like to sit on the chair?
Here? What about we put it here?
There, you're playing with all the cables.
Wanna put it here?
Oh, look, then you can sit on it.
And you can sit on it here. No?
Well, look. Oh no, it's got sides. Oh.
You want apple? She wants another apple.
Get your boxes from IKEA.
Come on.
I didn't actually know we had this. We don't go to IKEA. How did we get this? I can't fold it. Oh look, there's a triangle. Dun dun dun. Oh, there's a square. Look, I just parenting in practice. Look at that. I wonder what else I can get out of it. Star. Something weird. Right. Enough about my terrible parenting. So asking the child to explain what it is that they're doing is very important, because they then get to see the relationship of that to the real world. Now, if you can't relate what they're doing to the real world, if you can't relate it to any kind of real experience, then it's not going to be very practical for them. So you want to make sure that that each thing they're learning has a practical application. And
Excuse me.
Yes, I'm sorry. Here you are. There.
So what did Stefan Molyneux did to do?
Look, triangle. Look, anyway, never mind. Sorry.
You want to sit?
Okay, right. So we bring this chair in here.
Go over.
And we'll try and bring Jazzy up here. You gonna come up here? Oh! And make sure she doesn't. You have to stand, darling.
She wants to sit.
She wants to sit. You have to make sure she doesn't touch any of the cables with her feet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. you can almost see you. Look at that. It's
Almost.
a shame it's not a bit higher.
Yeah.
Oh, there's nothing we can put under her to make it higher, is there? So that she can be...
Apart from the flat box, not really.
I could try to lift it up. There we go. Can you see yourself? Probably can't.
Can you see?
Who's that? Who's that pretty little girl? Nice hair. I like your hair today. Looking good there. Okay, I'll put you down. Oh, just put it down on my own toe. Putting a stool on your toe.
So what, did she have problems with her partner?
Wait. I got an idea to move this. Just over this way a little bit. Hello?
What? You want me to take it out?
You can sit on my knee and then you'll be even higher up. Oh, look at that. That's much better.
Yeah.
My leg is going to die, but
Here, love.
we'll be on the podcast. Let's go.
It's gone.
There we go. Good job. So, I can't connect it to what we were talking about before. What were we talking about before?
I was talking about a story, but I forgot what it was.
You forgot what the story was?
Yeah.
We're not very good at remembering. Your podcast number 27 and number 28 were kind of similar.
I wanted to say something
I
actually wanted to say something really interesting, but he just jumped in it with Stefan Molyneux.
Anyway, no, it made me laugh so much. I just like...
Darling, there's no another one. This is the last apple.
Right. Anyway, to make a long story very...
Oh, okay. Keep talking.
Well, I didn't know there was going to be a kid. Having a kid in the middle of the conversation.
The story is not appropriate for kids.
It's an X-rated conversation, but I think I can get round it by using words that children
are
will
family
not,
friendly.
not understand. Children understand everything that's going on. It's like, okay.
No, really.
Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Hello. Right. Come in a bit closer. Far away there. Okay. So, so she was talking about her healthy lifestyle, blah 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 blah, and then she got onto her sexual problems with her husband, and she was like, well, once every 3 or 4 months I'd give him a blowjob, and Stefan Molyneux was like, but you said you were a vegan. And it just cracked me up. It just cracked me up so much. Because she was like pouring her heart out and being all serious about this, but
and he was
but she was contradicting herself. You know, she was contradicting herself, and not listening and repeating the same thing in the conversation. And Stefan Molyneux was getting a bit frustrated. It's hysterical.
Oh God! No, I don't know what my important thing was that I wanted to say.
Well, and then she was
What were we talking about?
She was talking about she got ill because she didn't have enough meat in her diet, right? And then she said that. So, well, at least you tried to get something. Sorry.
Anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a naked guy at the window over there.
No, there's not.
Yes, there is.
Where?
The first window in that block of flats.
Oh.
Oh, he just pulled his trousers up.
Oh. There's a half naked bloke. Okay. So I was talking about how my annoying habit at the university, right?
Yeah.
Where I studied and learned, and I was like, okay, well, I have to make sure that I know this, and you kind of when you learn something, then you repeat it to yourself after you've learned to see if you remember stuff, and what I would do is the next day I would come to school, and we would all be standing, in the corridor waiting to be called in.
Oh, the oral examination.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I knew it. There was a connection.
And
somewhere.
I would just keep explaining things to people, right? And if nobody wanted to know anything, then I would just make it up. I would go like, oh, hey, and do you remember this point? Yeah? And people would be like, where was that? And I'd be like, oh, well, that was here. And I would just talk, and I would just tell them everything that I could remember, just to kind of practice my, to see if I really know it, right, for myself. So I was like explaining other people things and telling them how things are. And in my head, that was like, okay, I'm telling them, so now they will remember better. And I'm telling myself as well, so that I see what I know and what I don't know, and, how I should say it. And that really helped me. Don't know about the other people, probably just stressed them out, but it really helped.
Are you saying that you were sort of bullshitting in the exams, basically?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I reinforced what I learned by telling everybody else around me about it, which is basically what they're saying in point 3, ask your children to explain to you what they're doing. Yeah,
if someone can't explain what they're doing and why they're doing what they're doing, then what they're doing doesn't have much point or purpose at all.
Well, basically. No, actually, that's not always true. I had this guy who's really good at maths and physics, and he couldn't explain what he was doing, but he always got it right. The mathematical processes just worked in his brain.
You don't be a very good teacher if you can't explain process.
Well, he didn't study to be a teacher. I think he's working in IT, but the thing is, he knew what he was doing. He was a genius on what he was doing. But when the teacher asked him,
this girl's a genius with apples.
You know how teachers sometimes or almost all the time insist on you have to write out the whole process when you do a test, right? They're like, okay, you have to write out the whole process so that we see what you're doing, so that we see how we got to the end result, yeah? And he always had problems because he always had the end result right, but he would either write completely different process or just wouldn't write it at all because it all happened in his genius mind, right? So
yeah.
So you can't. So some people can't always explain what's happening in their genius mind when it comes to math, because sometimes these calculations, I don't know how he did them. It was almost like as if they happened on a different level of thinking, you know?
Yeah, doesn't really affect the point that I made, though, does it? That if you don't work through the processes, you can't really explain anything to other people. I mean, you can know it yourself, but if you can't, you can know it you can know the answer yourself, but if you can't teach it to other people, the question is, do you then really understand it?
Well, I don't know whether he understood it. I just know that he knew, and he was absolutely right. That was the way, right? That was correct. He was like, I'm 100% sure this is the correct result, and he was right. And sometimes it happened that he wasn't, and then he would be like, okay, you show me the process that you used. And as the other person was showing him, the teacher was showing him the process, he would at some point go, because he couldn't describe his own process, but he knew when he saw it written out, down, he knew where he made a mistake.
Okay.
So it was interesting.
Okay, we'll do one more. Play card games or board games that involve counting. Does that help with mathematics?
Oh, obviously, yes, it does. Absolutely. I mean, Will's Monopoly, he was really good for his counting.
I can't stand Monopoly. But that's probably because my mother loves it, right? What I'm saying is it's probably not rational, the fact that I can't stand that game, which is a shame because Will really enjoys playing it. And,
I enjoy playing it as well.
Yeah.
I think we should play
I prefer that card game.
Maybe you will like it.
Americki Jolik, the American Joker game. I like that.
Maybe if you play Monopoly with me, you will kind of rewire the aversion. No? It's like me and chess. I really dislike playing chess because I had to play with my brother all the time, and he always beat me.
I don't like the logic which is not in Monopoly. The logic which is missing. Which is, everybody starts with money and then collects more money, but no one really works. I mean, that gets on my nerves.
Well, it's a game.
Yes, but I think games should reflect something about the reality of the world around about us. And Monopoly,
so you should throw the dice and then go off for 2 weeks and work on something.
It says me who was playing Star Wars Rebel Outcast the other
exactly.
night.
Or like Americký jolik. It's like like as if that had any life skills in it.
It does. I you know what I like about that game? I like trying to figure a pattern to win, because it's about patterns. And of course, with cards, there's that element of luck. What is going to be the next card, right? But then you have to take the card and work on patterns, and you have to decide: do I go for runs, or do I go for groups? Or
I was thinking about that board game. We should get that board game, the Settlers from Qatar or something like that, or of Qatar.
I have never
like
heard of this in my life.
Osadníci z Qataru, and it's a whole big series of board games, and it's supposed to be really, really good.
You'll have to show that to me later, because I have.
Okay, I've only seen it in Slovak, so I don't know what it's called in English, but I will research it and I'll show it to you. It's supposed to be really good.
Right, we've done our time.
Oh, okay.
We've done our time. We're way over. The first 30 minutes was nonsense, as usual. The second 30 minutes was proactive parenting.
Bit less of nonsense.
We got into a bit of mathematics later on as well. So thank you very much for tuning in. This is live on Facebook, the Practical Parenting Podcast. It's also going out.
Cheers, just.
Well, I put the chair in the middle for. Look, if you stand forward to the side, I will remove the.
It's too late. We're saying bye-bye anyway.
Oh, okay, right. This will be backed up on the YouTube channel, the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching. You can join in the conversation there. You can tune in on Facebook. I am Graham William Hendrey, and this.
I am the 21st Century Mum here.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Spelled M-U-M.
There we go. Woo! Things going on in the background.
Weird noises coming out of the technology stuff, as usual.
It's all weird today. Right. It's a new streamlined
we're going to have some
everything.
noises coming out of our son soon, so we better say bye-bye.
Yes. Well, you have to hold it for 2 minutes because we're saying bye-bye on the internet. Absolutely. Jazzy's trying to eat your MP3 player. Right. Yeah, join in the conversation. Leave your questions and we'll get back to you with some answers. And
thank you for the hearts and the likes.
And keep your eyes open for
more
amazing parenting.
Amazing parenting.
Coming up this week as well.
See you later.
Bye bye bye. Dude it done. Bye bye on the internet.
Thanks for watching and listening.
Can't find my control system. Look at that. Nice day outside now. Look at all the trees.
I know, we have to go
changing
outside
colours.
to take the kids outside.
Yeah. Cool. Say bye again.
Bye.